Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's been a couple of days since the launch of Into the Emerald Dream, and I'm ready to give you guys my deck recommendations for Standard and Wild. And it's not just Demon Hunter, Death Knight. We have 10 Standard decks, 5 wild decks that you can take and reasonably expect to climb, whether it's to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or to legend. I will always warn on the first deck recommendation video, it's still very early. Things are changing a lot. You might want to hold off on crafting or whatever, but we will have a crafting guide this weekend on key cards, so look out for that. And as always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. We are getting ever and ever closer to that road to 100,000 subscribers where, I don't know, we're gonna shave the beard, we're gonna braid the beard. I was even thinking maybe like a Viking streak, full on buy a Viking costume and braid the beard. That would be fun. Anyways, let's get into the decks, which again, I promise are not just, well, let's go with the obvious. The deck I do enjoy playing, I think it's too good, will probably get nerfed, but I really like in Suck Death Knight, the whole leech package, the main card being Hideous Husk, getting those leeches on the board that steal health from the lowest health minion. It can get through armor and all of that. So this deck, I don't think beats Demon Hunter on average, but it's not that far off, and it crushes most other things. It does lose pretty hard to like Protoss Mage, which we'll talk about later, but I think this might be the best deck in the game. It really could be. Armor Demon Hunter is the most frustrating deck in the game, but it's definitely not the best, believe it or not. You look at the stats, pretty targeted right now, obviously. Regardless of that, yeah, Hideous Husk doing a good job of Shala Dressel or whatever it's called, getting those corrupted dream cards, or just the regular ones can be good. You can do pretty cool plays with like Exarch Maladar into Ysera, which could like corrupt that, ramp up, or just get a Ziliax out there. There's not that many things to take advantage of it, but the high roll is certainly there. But you'll even notice we're running cards now like Toy Snatching Geist. The main reason being, you play this on 3, you can very likely hit Hideous Husk on 5, or sorry, for 4 mana, which could just win the game. And you got some tools in here like Threads of Despair. You got early game, you got board clears, you got infinite value in Kill Jaded. You can gain a ton of health. This deck basically does it all. And if you're wondering like what would get nerfed in this deck in the future, well, Hideous Husk, probably the most likely target, would go to like 7 or steal less health, or, and of course Ceaseless is gonna get nerfed at some point. It's already, by the way, over 50% of decks already, but we'll have a meta review video soon going over that stuff, probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow we'll get into everything. The Demon Hunter drama is insane, right? Next deck I want to recommend, which Maxi took to rank 1, might be, this is like a toss-up. There's 3 decks right now that are a toss-up to be the best decks. You got Leech DK, you got Discover Hunter, which runs very few new cards. It does have a Brawl Bear Mantle. People thought this card was gonna be bad. I didn't, and it's already seeing play in Discover Hunter because you got cheap spells, and that can be really darn good, right? But mainly it's Seaside Giant spam, right? I could not believe they didn't nerf that last patch, and yeah, it is really hard carrying this deck and another one we'll talk about. Yeah, get them out for zero. You have all those locations. You can just scam games early with those early giants, and then in the more of the late game, you have basically your Zerglings, right? You generate your Zerglings and then do a ton of damage with Hydraulisk, and of course you got Tempo Swings with Ceaseless and Kerrigan. Really good deck, not the easiest thing to play in the world, and you got another new addition from the core set here in Wound Prey. But yeah, this deck seems to be doing pretty well and seems to be better overall than Armor Demon Hunter, at least statistically at high legend. And yeah, let's talk about this. Is definitely one of the best decks in the game. It is the one warping everything, right? You can't play decks that just lose to this. That's why its win rate is going down so much. Is everybody is basically playing decks that don't lose to this because it's so unbelievably frustrating. We know the deal. Arcanite Defense Crystal, get that out there, have it die, play Ravenous Fell Hunter, get even more of them back. Then you can play the Ferocious Fellbat, get even more back, and build and make a giant starship to launch with the Exodar, which can outright kill people or just gain 1 million armor so you never die. kill Jaden, kill your opponent that way, and even have like return policy and cubicle to get even more death rattle procs. You have a bit of early game, like initial board clears, like initial immolation aura, infiltrate to help, you know, fight for that early board, because this deck does struggle with in particular early aggression tempo. That's the main thing it struggles with, or getting hexed, which we'll talk about. That could be a strat. And yeah, this is probably one of the better lists out there, and I gotta say, it's one of the most boring decks I've ever played. And I like playing slow grindy decks. There's just nothing to it other than playing Crystal, resummoning it a lot, and then eventually kill Jaden or Exeter, right? I don't find it fun to face at all, and I find it even like less fun to play. If you enjoy playing it, that's great. There are the ones out there. I'm looking at you, Clark Hellscream. I don't know how he likes it, but there are people that enjoy it. But yeah, play it if you like it. Play it while it lasts, because that deck is certainly going to get nerfed. Like, there's pretty much 0% chance it won't get nerfed. The next really powerful deck that we're seeing a lot at higher legend in particular, Location Warlock. Location Warlock, because again, Seaside Giants are really good, right? And this isn't trying to win the ultimate late game with like Wheel of Death or kill Jaden. That kind of went out the window when Sargeras rotated. It's just about getting those giants. We even have like Travel Agent in there to get more locations, to draw them, get them out faster. We even have Scrap Booking Student. Mainly, you really want to copy either like Ultralisk that's about to be broken to get more 8/8s, or Horizon's Edge just to deal a bajillion damage, right? That could be a way of killing, and that's basically the deck. Play giants, try and play some early game to stay alive, draw cards, and hopefully can overwhelm your opponent with stats. Last game I faced this deck playing my Suck DK. I just couldn't deal with all the 8/8s, eventually died. So I don't know if it's favored at all against Death Knight, but I did lose against this playing Death Knight. So yeah, Location Warlock trending really well. Let's go into some hard counters for Demon Hunter. You're looking to hard counter Demon Hunter. These two next deck, actually I think a lot of these decks are trying to do that. Let's be honest. Imbue Hunter is one of them. It's like just above 50% win rate at Legend. I think it's sub 50% win rate now at High Legend. But if you're playing not at High Legend or anywhere else, you can win with this deck overall, and you can really beat the crap out of Demon Hunter because of King Plush. So basically you want this hero power up there, right? Give a random beast in your hand +1 attack, it costs 1 less. You want to buff the crap out of King Plush, and the idea is the Demon Hunter, they don't really put much aggression on the board, right? They're not challenging you a ton, and then you could just King Plush, throw all their starships away, hit them in the face, might even kill them, and then you have Youthful Brewmaster to do it again. And then again, you do have early game in there to try and deal with the tempo decks, but this deck does lose pretty hard to like the aggro rogues out there and those type of decks, so that's where it struggles. But overall, this is one of the main counters to Shaman out there, and there are some new cards, the Imbue cards, Malorn, all that stuff, but overall, it's pretty much like this deck probably wouldn't exist if the Demon Hunter deck out there wasn't doing what it's doing. So that's definitely the impact that Demon Hunter has going on right now. And the same goes with Nebula Shaman. This deck is basically built to beat Demon Hunter. Again, you're running 2 copies of Hex, which you can triangulate and get more, because if you hex their starship piece, well, it's not really coming back. They can return, exchange, or whatever it's called, and get more of them, but you can hex more of them. And then what are they going to do? They can't really do a heck of a lot. And then the whole win con, you see a lot of expensive stuff, right? Well, it's all about Murmur. You get Murmur on the board, in particular with Parrot Sanctuary, making your Battle Cry minions cost 1 less. They become all 0. So you can like Murmur, click the button, play a Shutter Block, click the button, play Hagatha, click the button, and then play the Slime that gives you a 9-mana Nebula. Summon a full board, and you can do that as early. I had that happen to be on turn 5. Turn 5, they triple Nebula me, because you have like Fairy Tale Forest, so you get some high rolls with that, right? It was disgusting, and I was playing Death Knight. I lost. You also have the Curator in there to help you draw those specific pieces, which was recently buffed. And yeah, not a ton of new cards, of course. You got Malorn, we've got Xavius, which goes into most decks, but for the most part, it's purely a screw you Demon Hunter deck. So that, again, that's what the meta is doing, and that's why I would really like for them to do something about Demon Hunter sooner than later, because this is not exactly the healthiest thing. Next, I have a deck that I just saw that's doing well. I saw Cantaloupe playing it. He did all right. Menagerie suck. The Menagerie suck Death Knight. It's how broken Hideous Husk is. We could play a deck with Menagerie Jug, unironically buffing our other minions. So yeah, you got the leech package in there, but we also have a new card in the Monstrous Mosquito, which you played early against a deck like Armor DH is likely to live and buff your stuff. You just overwhelm them and kill them or get their health low enough that, yeah, the leeches will finish off the deal in the late game of turn 6. So yeah, it's a pretty aggressive deck and it does seem to be doing well. So you're looking for something a little bit different. It is certainly a deck you can give a try. We also have Protoss decks, 3 to end off here because Protoss didn't get nerfed and it's still pretty good, or it's caught up to an extent. So we have Protoss Rogue, plays like a tempo deck, right? Mostly you got some aggression in here. Stealth Boy and Eridur Skulker. You can high roll, of course, Harbinger of the Blighted, play it early with Shadow Steps, just summon a full board and kind of win the game if you get that right hand. And then more of the late game, like the Chrono Boost, the Artanuses. And I don't know if this is a bug, but it's working right now. If you play Sandbox Scoundrel while you're holding Shaladrassel, it corrupts it. It just works, which I don't think makes any sense. Like, it sets its cost down to 4, and I guess it looks at the 5 and counts it as corrupted. It's weird. I don't know if it's a bug, but it works. So if you're playing this deck, you might as well play that combo, because I lost to it to someone playing top 100, which made me mad. But overall, this deck seems to be a pretty good, again, it's a fast deck, can help you beat those, you know, the slower Armor DH and all that. So yeah, another more aggressive deck to go with. Protoss Imbue Mage, really fun. I had a lot of fun. I played this deck, I tried it out. It beats Death Knight. It does not beat Demon Hunter. If you're facing a lot of Demon Hunter, like a lot of people are, avoid this deck. But other than that, it's got like a positive win rate spread against almost every other class, where you combine your imbues, right? You have your Spirit Gatherers, your Flutterwing Guardians, get those wisps going, and then you can kill your opponent with a Cena or do a bunch of damage with multiple Colossus. And it's important to note, when you play Artanis and you replace that imbued hero power, if you just play another imbue card after, it'll give you back that imbued hero power +1 on whatever you are. It doesn't reset it to 1, it continues the chain. So if you play, if it was like summon 3 wisps, I play Artanis and then I imbue, then it'll summon 4 wisps after that. So just be aware, it's not super anti-synergistic, and this deck's really fun, relatively competitive. Just, yeah, if you're facing Demon Hunter, it's almost impossible to do enough damage, and this deck can do a lot of damage. It just takes a while to get going, so Demon Hunter gets there against you. And then lastly, we'll go with another aggro deck, Aggro Protoss Priest, which very similar to what we saw before the expansion went live. We do have at least one new card in here in Illusory Greenwing. I believe it's our only dragon, but the way it works, you play it, you can scale Replica and draw the illusions it creates, right? Or just tutor the minion itself. So that's a pretty interesting little combo. And we got like Narian Soothe Fancy for a bit of value, Artanis and Mothership for those late games. So there's some aggro and a little bit of late game value if you're looking for it. But yeah, Imbue Priest, Imbue Paladin, Imbue Druid, can't recommend any of them right now. They're all struggling. So we'll see. We need that balance patch, because those decks just can't compete with either Demon Hunter or Death Knight, or honestly the Protoss stuff probably too. We'll talk about all that stuff in the future. For Wild actually changed a good amount since the last time we did this too, mainly because of Revert. So Call to Arms now arguably the best deck in Wild. Basically all about Call to Arms, getting your Nerubian Weblord or Nerubar Weblord, cheating out Turdy Rat Crab Rider, doing a bunch of the disruption stuff. But yeah, Showdown at 2 mana, pretty good. Prismatic Beam at 7 mana, pretty good. And you just got all your early game aggression. I don't know if you should run 2 copies of each. I don't know. This list might be a bit funky. You could change things around, but Call to Arm Paladin looking pretty darn effective. And Wild Libram Paladin still good. Pretty much nothing unchanged. No new cards. Just, you know, spam the cheap Librams, spam your light rays and your light bots. And the main thing is Glow Sticks doesn't go face anymore, so you don't have that additional reach. Other than that, the deck is effectively the same deal. Shadow Priest, again, really quick, always fast. It got Thirsty Drifter back. pretty much worth running now. It went to 7, it's back to 6, so you can get it out fast enough to be aggressive with it. Plus, Project just went back to 2, which double dips on it, right? You play a Thirsty Drifter for 0, Projectionist 0. Those two together make it worth the cut again. So you're looking for fast kills. Shadow Priest is a good way to go. One deck with new cards that I could find. XL Hero Power Mage. There's not a lot of sample size. I don't know how good the deck is, but it's worth giving a shot if you got the cards. You get to imbue, you get to do gross stuff with the Reckless Apprentice, right? It'll cast your hero power for every minion on the board. So if you got like the 7 damage wisps, it's gonna go pretty crazy. And you got kind of cool combos in here, like you could wisp or Deathborn your own wisps, get skeletons. We got more trash, Kel'Thuzad. I gotta give this deck a try. I actually have to give this a try. I hope it's good. The limited sample size showed like 58% at least Legend. So maybe, just maybe. So yeah, we'll recommend that. And then Reno Shaman, still trending pretty well. I don't know if they're running Xavius in this or not, if it's been updated even for that. It doesn't look like it. Mainly just like the Curator. Holiday got reverted. Reno back at 8. There's some things that are working for the deck, but overall it's your usual greed disruption pile into Shutterwalk stuff, and Ceaseless and Zihi and Cold Storage are in your ETC, and our Ziliax is the twin module. Perfect module, and we can abuse Murmur with some pretty gross combos in there as well. So there you go, decks to try in Standard and Wild. I anticipate once Armor, DH, and like Death Knight and that stuff do get nerfed, whether it's sooner or later, that this will change a lot. So be aware of that. But overall, there is some variety out there. It's just, yeah, you really have to target things specifically when there's certain decks just doing way too well. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.